Welcome to our channel Crime Loom, the place where true crime stories come alive.
Stephen Wright is one of the most unique and original comedians in the history of stand-up comedy. He was born on December 6, 1955, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in the United States. From an early age, he did not show signs of wanting to be a comedian. But as he grew older, he found that he saw the world in a way that was different from most people. Wright did not speak quickly, he did not shout, and he did not try to fill every moment with loud laughter. Instead, he developed a style that was quiet, slow, and surprisingly funny. His voice was so calm and his delivery so relaxed that audiences felt almost hypnotized before they realized they were laughing. This soft, slow way of speaking became his signature style and something that people all over the world came to recognize and love. Wright did not rush into comedy right away. He lived a normal life like many other young people in Massachusetts, going to school and doing everyday things, but he always had a unique mind and a special way of looking at life that set him apart. He saw connections that others ignored and turned ordinary moments into thoughts that could make people think and laugh at the same time. He noticed the funny side of simple things and turned them into jokes that felt like puzzles, where the humor came from surprising twists of logic and strange surprises that no one saw coming. His jokes were not just funny words. They were like small journeys into the weird corners of thought. In the late 1970s, Wright began performing stand-up comedy at small clubs in Boston. One of the places where he first performed was the Comedy Connection, a club where many young comics tried out new material. Wright worked on his jokes, tried them in front of real audiences, and slowly built confidence. At that time, he did not have the success he would later achieve, but he was creating something that was truly his own. His delivery was different from most comedians who spoke loudly and quickly. Wright seemed to speak as if he was just describing normal day-to-day life, but then he would twist the sentence in such a way that it became unexpected and funny. His breakthrough came in 1982 when a producer of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson saw him perform at a local comedy club called the Ding Ho in Cambridge. This producer was Peter Lesuli, and he was known for spotting talent. He was impressed by Wright's calm and unusual style, and he booked him to perform on The Tonight Show. This was a moment that would change Wright's career forever. When Wright stepped onto the stage of the famous late-night show, he did not change his style to fit the big audience. He spoke slowly, almost whispering at times, and delivered jokes that played with logic and language in strange and delightful ways. To the surprise of many, the audience loved it. Johnny Carson, the host, was so impressed that he asked Wright to sit on the couch and talk after his set, which was a rare honor for a stand-up comedian making his first appearance. Less than a week later, Wright was invited back for another performance. After his appearances on The Tonight Show, his career began to grow quickly. In 1985, he released a comedy album called I Have a Pony. This album became very popular and received critical praise. People and critics noticed that his jokes were unlike anything else being performed at the time, and many fans began to follow his work. The success of I Have a Pony helped him to get his own special on the television network HBO. The special, titled A Stephen Wright Special, showed him performing his stand-up in front of a live audience, and it became particularly popular because audiences found his quiet, thoughtful humor refreshing and endlessly funny. Wright's humor was never fast or loud. Instead, it was slow, thoughtful, and filled with clever twists. He used paradoxes, one-liners, and sentences that seemed normal at first, but then led the listener into a strange place. Some of his famous jokes include lines like 82.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot, or I bought some powdered water, but I don't know what to add. These kinds of jokes played with the ordinary meanings of words and ideas and made people laugh because they were unexpected and witty. His humor often made people think as much as laugh, because it was a combination of logic, wordplay, and surreal thinking. As his fame grew, he continued to perform stand-up comedy in clubs and theaters across the United States. But unlike many comedians who sought fame through television sitcoms or movies, Wright remained focused on his stand-up and his unique voice. He did not become a regular on television sitcoms, but he did appear occasionally on shows like Saturday Night Live and Late Night with David Letterman. These appearances helped to keep him in the public eye and showed television audiences his unusual style of humor. Outside of stand-up, he also appeared in films and wrote short films. One of his most notable achievements outside of comedy was winning an Academy Award for Best Live-Action Short film for The Appointments of Dennis Jennings in 1989, which he co-wrote and co-starred in. Despite his success, Wright did not become a Hollywood star in the traditional sense. He did not rush into acting roles or try to change his comedic voice to suit mainstream tastes. Instead, he remained true to his own style and continued to explore humor in the ways that made him happy. His work was not just about getting big laughs in the moment, it was about making people think, pause, and then laugh. He once said that he did not try to explain the world or teach people anything. He was simply trying to write things that were funny and make people laugh in his own way. During the 1990s and 2000s, Wright continued doing stand-up and occasionally released new specials and albums. In 2006, he released Stephen Wright, When the Leaves Blow Away, his first stand-up special in more than 15 years. This special, like his earlier work, focused on his signature style of thoughtful one-liners and subtle humor. He also released a follow-up album called I Still Have a Pony, which was a nod to his first album from more than 20 years earlier. Both of these works continued to show that his comedy had not lost its sharpness or originality, even after decades in the business. Although he was best known for his live performances and television specials, Wright also inspired many comedians who came after him. His quiet delivery and clever wordplay stood in contrast to the louder, more energetic styles of many other comics. Some younger comedians have cited his influence on their own work, especially those who enjoy absurd, surreal, or philosophical humor. Wright showed that a comedian did not have to shout or perform in high energy to be funny. Sometimes the quietest voice can be the most memorable. Wright's personal life was always kept out of the spotlight. He is known to be a private person and did not share many details of his personal relationships or daily life with the public. He preferred that people focused on his work and his humor rather than his personal affairs. In interviews, he often spoke more about how he created jokes than about his private life, saying that he wrote jokes by observing life and just noticing odd connections in everyday moments. In addition to stand-up and film work, Wright also explored writing in other forms. He started working on a novel called Harold, which was inspired by his unique comedic take on life and thought. This book, filled with surreal and reflective ideas, brought his style into written form and showed yet another side of his creative mind. Even after more than 4 decades in comedy, Stephen Wright remains a figure whose work is admired for its originality and intelligence. His career shows that humor does not have to fit a single mold. He proved that calmness on stage can be powerful, that silence can be funny, and that clever thoughts can turn simple words into laughter. Wright's legacy lives on through his recordings, his specials, his films, and the many comedians who have been inspired by his unusual voice. For anyone who listens to his work, there is always something new to discover in his jokes. People can hear one line and laugh immediately, but if they listen again, they might notice something deeper or more clever hidden in the phrase. This quality of layered humor makes Wright's work timeless, because people can return to his jokes again and again and still find them surprising. His comedy is not just about the moment of laughter, but about the way a sentence can twist logic and reveal truths about life that are funny, strange, and unforgettable. In the world of comedy, Stephen Wright is a name that stands apart. He did not follow the usual path to fame, but his quiet voice and witty humor created a legacy that will be remembered by comedy lovers forever. His jokes will continue to be shared, quoted, and laughed at by new generations of fans, long after he first stepped onto that stage in Boston so many years ago. And in the end, that is the mark of a true comedic legend.
For watching more amazing videos like this, subscribe our channel Crime Loom.